What if I told you that the biggest revolutions today aren't happening in the streets, but in the silence of bedrooms, in moments of breath, when no one is watching? It sounds strange, doesn't it? We've been taught that change only happens with noise, crowds, and flags waving. But what if that's the biggest misconception of our era? Revolution is happening right now, without spotlights, applause, or charismatic leaders. It's made by ordinary people who, by awakening, are quietly rewriting humanity's destiny. Maybe you're already part of it, without even realizing it. That uneasy feeling of not belonging to the mass might just be proof that something bigger is unfolding. And that's what we're exploring today. It's interesting to notice how throughout history, the greatest seekers of truth often chose the path of stepping back. It's not about running away, but about strategy. The wise understand that the crowd chases fleeting distractions, while silence holds the deepest secrets. By withdrawing, they don't lose contact with the world. Instead, they start seeing it from perspectives few can reach. It's like climbing a mountain. From the top, everything becomes clear, but it takes courage to leave the village behind. Withdrawing doesn't mean looking down on society. It's about choosing not to be consumed by its noise. In this quiet space, awakened individuals find clarity. Think of figures like Buddha, or even Jung, who needed silence to develop ideas that transform generations. Stepping back allows an internal reorganization, like cleaning both mind and soul. Slowly, this stance itself becomes the source of their strength. Anyone who has turned off their phone for an entire weekend knows what this feels like. At first, the emptiness can be intimidating. Later, it becomes fertile. In that distraction-free space, the most authentic ideas and life-changing insights emerge. This isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Withdrawal works as a secret workshop where consciousness is refined and prepared for something greater. Interestingly, this act of stepping away can have practical effects. Someone who stops consuming compulsively doesn't just save money. They reclaim psychic energy. Another person who avoids pointless online arguments gains time to learn, meditate, or create something that truly inspires. It's through these small shifts that the real power of withdrawal shows itself. Perhaps the most intriguing part is realizing that this movement doesn't end with the individual. Silent withdrawal, seemingly solitary, opens the door for collective change, even if it's invisible at first. It's as if each person daring to step back is preparing the ground for something bigger, a transformation that doesn't need applause or loud demonstrations. Some people believe revolution only happens when the streets fill with shouting and flags. But awakened individuals have learned that another kind of revolution exists, silent, almost invisible. It happens when a person chooses to transform their own energy instead of fighting to change what's out of reach. Think of someone who replaces anger with calmness. That alone is an act of rebellion against a world addicted to conflict. True revolution doesn't need a megaphone. It only requires inner coherence. When someone manages to shift their energy, their presence speaks louder than any speech. It's like entering a tense room and, without saying a word, changing the atmosphere. This type of impact can't be measured in headlines, but in the moods it creates. Jung said that looking outward makes you dream, but looking inward makes you awake. This inner awakening generates effects far longer lasting than any temporary protest. We see this in small gestures. A person meditating daily radiates calm in chaotic environments, inspiring others to seek balance. Someone choosing forgiveness instead of holding grudges initiates a micro-revolution. These are simple actions, but they demonstrate how change doesn't require noise, only consistency. It's an almost invisible force, yet much steadier than any fleeting public demonstration. Another advantage rarely mentioned is that internal transformation doesn't depend on outside circumstances. Protests need crowds, social conditions, time and space. Energy shifts can happen any time inside each person. It's a self-sufficient power. Those who cultivate it realize they don't need recognition to be revolutionary. The aligned energy of one person can influence hundreds around them, even without conscious intention. This kind of silent revolution paves the way for something beyond the individual, an invisible collective movement. When thousands of awakened people start raising their energy, it creates waves capable of reshaping the consciousness of an entire era. It may seem subtle, but that subtlety is the paradox. What nobody clearly notices might be what's quietly changing everything. Invisible influence may seem abstract, but it happens every day without us noticing. Haven't you ever walked into a room and immediately felt whether it was tense or calm? That feeling doesn't come from words, but from silent energy fields. A genuine smile can lift the mood of an entire line, just as a bitter look can shake even the strongest person. When combined, these small gestures create waves that reach far beyond the moment. It's like throwing a stone into a pond. The ripples may seem small, but they reach the other side. The same goes for our inner states. A parent choosing patience over yelling teaches their children to deal with the world with compassion. A teacher genuinely interested in their students instills confidence. Acts of this nature aren't headline-making, but they silently shape generations' collective consciousness. Practical examples are all around us. A neighbor planting a community garden spreads more than vegetables. They inspire self-sufficiency and connection. Someone volunteering quietly without seeking praise plants seeds of humanity in others. These acts don't just affect the recipient. They strengthen the giver, creating an invisible network supporting the social fabric. The unseen is what gives structure to the seen. Many think they need a big platform to make an impact, but every small choice already affects the world. The tone of voice we use, the energy we bring into a meeting, or even how we greet a stranger leaves a mark on the collective. So over time, these micro-decisions change entire narratives. The fascinating part is realizing that even unknowingly, we are part of this chain of influence. If small individual actions can shift local atmospheres, imagine what happens when thousands of awakened people act on this level. This may be where deep psychology meets spirituality, in the power of a collective shaped not by noise, but by subtle vibrations laying the groundwork for something much bigger. Carl Jung believed that humans aren't isolated in their own minds, but connected to an invisible ocean called the collective unconscious. Every thought, emotion, and personal transformation leaves traces in this shared deep layer. When someone awakens, that awakening isn't private. It resonates like a spark, lighting up not just their own life, but the invisible network connecting us all. What seemed like an individual journey turns out to be a quiet contribution to humanity. This impact is like a single candle in a dark room. One flame doesn't just light itself, it creates a path for others to see. Jung said that what remains unconscious manifests as destiny, and when someone faces their shadows, they not only free themselves, but also help dissolve collective patterns. Healing a personal wound becomes, at the same time, healing an ancestral one. We can see this in families. When someone stops cycles of abuse or emotional harm, the change affects children, grandchildren, and even neighbors who witness it. Personal healing carries a force beyond the individual. The collective unconscious is constantly being rewritten by these courageous choices. The invisible becomes tangible when generations are freed from old patterns. It's not just in families. Think of culture. A work of art, a book, or music created in heightened consciousness can inspire millions over decades. The awakened artist isn't just creating for themselves. They are translating universal symbols that touch something essential in everyone. This is where we see that the silence of the awakened isn't emptiness. It's invisible work in the collective field. Every internal transformation contributes like a new code implanted in humanity's shared matrix. And if the collective unconscious can be shaped by individuals, we might be witnessing a silent revolution, quietly rewriting our shared story. The future is rarely built on big stages. It's crafted in the quiet spaces where few dare to look. In those moments of introspection, the most powerful ideas grow before they surface in the visible world. Awakened people, stepping away from noise, become invisible architects of a new era. They're quietly writing a story that will only be fully understood when its fruits mature. And perhaps that's the greatest strength of this revolution. It doesn't demand immediate recognition. It's fascinating to see how meditation, conscious decisions, and mindful living shape collective trends. Tomorrow isn't born from fiery speeches, but from countless small daily practices. Someone planting a tree in their yard or reducing waste isn't just acting ecologically. They're spiritually shaping the future. The power lies in these simple yet profound actions. This process is like roots growing beneath the soil. The movement isn't visible, but it sustains life above ground. Humanity works the same way. While headlines focus on crises, a silent network of awakened people is laying the foundation for a different world. It's invisible yet vital, and will only reveal itself in time. History shows us similar patterns. Many major social movements started in small, almost secret circles, where ideas were nurtured away from public eyes. The same is happening now. Practices of self-awareness, deep psychology, and applied spirituality are forming an underground culture that will eventually emerge. When it does, it will seem sudden, but it's decades in the making. Here lies the paradox. The most revolutionary future may already be taking shape in silent spaces. While some still seek loud change, others understand that transformation begins quietly, and perhaps it's precisely this quiet that carries the promise of irreversible change. So now, after understanding the power of silence, energy, and invisible influence, the question remains, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you stay in the crowd, letting noise dictate your choices, or will you join this silent revolution shaping the world from within? Think about your everyday actions. A kind word, a conscious decision, a caring gesture, they can create waves that transform realities. Change starts with you, and only you can decide to let it grow. Have you noticed how small acts influence others without us realizing? Now imagine that multiplied by thousands, maybe millions, of awakened people acting intentionally. The energy you cultivate daily isn't just yours. It resonates through the collective consciousness. Are you ready to take on this quiet yet vital role in shaping a different future? The choice is yours, and the opportunity has never been clearer. What if I told you that every gesture, even the smallest, can change not only your path, but also those around you? Every conscious choice, every intentional moment of silence, every deep reflection is like planting seeds that could blossom in ways you can't yet see. Do you want to be just another face in the crowd, or do you want to be the seed of something greater? The power is in your hands. Take a deep breath and reflect. What kind of energy are you offering the world? Are you spreading tension, confusion, and distraction? Or are you being a silent point of light awakening others? Don't underestimate your influence, it's real, and every action matters. Try choosing the path of awakening today, even quietly, and watch how small changes can create big transformations. If this message resonates with you, and you want to keep exploring how your own consciousness can impact the world, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here we explore the paths of awakening, self-knowledge, and the silent transformation that truly matters. After all, revolution doesn't need noise. It needs the courage to begin with yourself.